Are you tired? I know my daughter Andrea is very tired. Are you tired?
Yes, ma'am.
No such thing as a man.
All the time.
No such thing as a guy who's not going to help, a father who's not going to help around the house, right?
Oh, no.
I tried.
Let's start from the very beginning. Now, as I understand this, and I think you're going to love it, they were not planning on having children. They were not married. She got pregnant. Now you've been married for over a year. That does it to you, really, right? And they had no idea they were going to have multiples until 9 weeks into the pregnancy.
That's correct.
My goodness. Did you have, first of all, did you take any fertility drugs at all?
No.
No.
We're 24 years old. We don't need that kind of a thing yet, you know?
So here you have two people, and they like each other, and they're not married, and they aren't thinking of having children, and now look. Tell me about the pregnancy. Was it a difficult pregnancy? What happens when there's 4?
It was very uncomfortable. Well, I had to quit work very early. About when I was 2.5, 3 months pregnant, I had to quit work totally and go on bed rest. And the doctor told me if I didn't go on bed rest, I would never carry him until full term. And so I went on bed rest, and at 23 weeks pregnant, I went in the hospital in preterm labor, and I laid in a hospital bed for 10.5 weeks and delivered at 33.5 weeks. They all move all the time.
In your stomach, they all moved
there
all
was
the
no
time.
Oh, it was great. You could see it. You could see it.
You could
know,
see, like,
arms and stuff, just things poking out of her belly. It was great. It was wild.
There was no room in there.
Oh, what were they born at, though, their birth weights?
In order, they were 4'8", 3'1", 212, and 4'1".
That's not that small.
No, they weren't. They were really good size.
Do you have multiples in either of your family?
No, none.
This is unheard of in our family.
Did the doctor give you an explanation of how the quadruplets were formed?
Well, I dropped 2 eggs that month, and 1 egg formed the girl, and when the other egg was fertilized, it split into 3, and that made the 3 identical boys.
So you've got 1 girl, but the 3 boys are identical.
Yes, they were by the same egg.
Now, what about labor? Were you there?
No, I was outside the hospital. I wasn't allowed in. I had the chicken pox.
Oh, no. What a time to get the chicken pox.
I didn't see the kids for about a week after they were born, so.
Both the Andrea, Garrett, Connor, Elisa, Harley, and Krista to the show. Talk about having your hands full. My dear.
You think so?
Oh, and they are the first ones born in your state, is that correct?
They were the first in Louisiana.
They're now 3 years old. I have to ask you, where'd you get that great stroller?
We built it. There's a company that makes one for 6 that sells to daycare centers, but they're very expensive. So I looked at a picture of one in a magazine. It's like, hey, I can build that. So I bought.
Dad built it?
Yes.
But the airlines tried to take it apart.
By the way, Denise had 2 miscarriages before the pregnancies. I would imagine when this finally happened, after the pain of 2 miscarriages, you would think, oh my heavens.
No, I just really never believed we'd see this pregnancy to the end. No.
Never.
No, not after the problems I had. I just really just never believed it.
Now you
would
were
happen.
taking Pergonal, is it?
Correct.
That's a fertility drug, and you'd been taking it, and you finally said enough of this?
It was our 3rd cycle. It was the 3rd month that I had been on the Pergonal that I became pregnant with the babies, and that same cycle I had told him I was done. I had just had enough, that I wouldn't be doing this anymore. Anybody that's been through fertility treatments knows it's just all-consuming. It becomes your life. You eat, drink, and sleep, your cycle. So. I was tired and had had enough, and he said, just give me one more chance.
The doctor said, give me one more chance.
Yeah, let's do it one more time. Give it one more try.
Did you have to go to a high-risk special kind of doctor?
Yes, initially, in the beginning.
Initially, when they told us that there were 4 babies there, they immediately turned us over to the perinatologist in the hospital that we were at, where there are actually 2 on staff, and they followed us for the duration.
What is that called?
Perinatologist.
Perinatologist, before birth, right?
Yes.
Right.
Wow.
And they handle all the high-risk pregnancies and such, but this was something even they had not seen before.
Well, not if it's the first one in your state.
No, and in turn, they were the ones that found the 5th baby after we had been released to them. Feet down.
Now, they
Stop that,
thought it
girls.
was triplets.
And they thought it was quadruplets
hitting.
at first. They found 4 sacs initially with the first ultrasound that we did after we found out she was pregnant.
But there were 2 babies in one sack.
1 sac. Yeah. Later on, they found Dylan, Nicole,
Sean, Dylan, Nicole, and Samantha. Thank you for being with us today. Now, you had 1 baby when this happened.
Yeah, she was 3.
Right. Were they planned?
The triplets or Samantha?
No, the triplets.
Well, we planned on having 1 more, and then we just went from 1 to 4, which was a little overwhelming, but
1 to
really
4
planned.
is overwhelming.
Sure.
What was it like trying unsuccessfully for so long to have a family and then suddenly to have such a big family?
It was just so overwhelming. I mean, you know, I had a problem getting pregnant, and I was on Clomid with my first one, and I was fragility induced with Pergonal for my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And it was frustrating because everyone else was getting pregnant and I wasn't, and I was trying, but I was overwhelmed. I was so excited when I found out.
There were a couple of times that my wife suffered some miscarriages, and so that was a little, you know, you would get pregnant, then you'd have a setback, and then when you finally get pregnant, you're elated about it, and then you hit with the extra stress and anxiety of having multiple births and a multiple pregnancy.
What point did you find out they were going to be triplets?
We found out about 6 or 7 weeks on. They do some type of blood test where the levels came back increased, and they wanted to test her on that, and they did a sonogram, and they found 3 gestations, as they said. And we didn't know what that meant when they said gestations, and you had an idea.
Look at how pretty and little Leslie is. She gained 80 pounds. 80 pounds. Did you have a difficult time?
I really it wasn't that difficult until like towards the end of my 7th month, because I went 33 weeks, that I started like cleaning and I couldn't get up off my knees. And that's when I said, I think it's time to go to the hospital. And they kept me in there for a couple of weeks.
Now, you delivered in an hour and a half?
Like an hour and a half.
That's not bad for triplets, is it?
Well, it was a C-section, so I was, I just had an epidural, and it was nothing like the first one, who I gave complete natural birth to. I just had an epidural, and I was laying on my back making jokes to the anesthesiologist and the doctors, and it was quite an experience.
It was amazing. Just there's a room full of doctors. I think you saw a tape earlier that showed that. That's what we went through. You're sitting there, and they put me right next to her head, and I'm just, there for, I don't know why I was there, but it was just a fabulous experience.
Do they have the same personality?
Completely different.
Completely
different.
You'll see by this show what I mean by completely different.
Yeah, she's a little quieter. This guy goes out. We have no switches on our lamps at home because he takes all the switches off, so we just have to keep them off. So if you want to turn a lamp on, you have to.
See, Renee is a little pregnant. Renee, I know it's hard, but can you stand for us? Just right up there. Renee is pregnant with
triplets.
How far along are you?
How far along am I? 4.5 whole months.
Now, Renee has 3 children, 7, 9, and 10, from a previous marriage. So you're going to have 6 children, right?
Yes.
6. It's going to double like that.
Hopefully they're going to...
What is the thing you're most worried about?
That I'm the most worried about? With triplets, it's just everything is so overwhelming. I was fine till I got to your studio today. I thought I could deal with this, being that I've had 3 children. I'm a pro, right? Wrong. Financially, I think, is the biggest worry, that you're going to...
Kerry and Pat might be named the super parents for all they've done. They have 2 sets of multiples. Can you introduce them, please?
In the stroller, up front, there will be Brandon. In the middle will be Amanda. And on the end will be Dylan. They're being pushed by Sarah and Emily. Can you sit down on the floor?
Are the older sister twins any help with the triplets?
They have to be.
They have to.
They have no choice. No, they're a real big help. They go and get a bottle or a toy or a burper cloth or whoever's halfway up the stairs.
How did this happen?
Do I have to go into that? They're infertility babies. They're in vitro babies.
They're in vitro babies.
Yes, they had these. We had these 2 after about 5 years of trying. And it was our last step, our last hope, to have children. And
then I was going to turn 30 and decided I wanted to know what it was like to have 1 baby. So we went back, and we got 3.
Did this happen on the first shot?
Both times.
Both times it was the first shot. Now, you are very slim. You weighed 92 pounds, in case anybody wonders if a mother can have all those babies, and 102 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And had a shock during your first pregnancy?
One of the placentas had started to tear, so I was on bed rest most of my pregnancy. And at 36 weeks, in the middle of the night, it completely tore. My water broke for both of them, and we went racing off to the hospital. I was hemorrhaging. I mean, they had to transfuse me. It was an unbelievable experience. I was planning on having them natural and ended up having an emergency C-section and not seeing them for 3 days. You know, I mean, it was
How has your life changed now with the triplets?
With the triplets.
We have no life.
This is it. This is it. There is no life.
This is it. No.
We do school and diapers, and school and diapers, and...
Well, you know, speaking of school, are the girls in the same class?
No. Where we live, they don't believe in it. They feel that you should separate them.
Right.
I think that it should be your choice. They do very well separated, but I think it should be the individual.
And Betty is a psychiatric social worker. How does a parent prepare mentally for the multiples, or don't you?
It's really important to prepare. Parents need to think ahead to what they'll need, and they need to connect with other people. They need to start establishing a support network as soon as they can. Join a Mothers of Twins club, contact an organization like Mothers of Super Twins or the Triplet Connection for specific advice on what it means to be pregnant with a lot of different babies. If they are older children, they need to prepare them too for the phenomenon that's going to be. And try to get as much of the legwork done now, because once those babies are born, they're going to be too busy.
Exactly. Now, speaking of school, should twins and triplets and quadruplets and quintuplets be in the same class?
There needs to be a case-by-case decision about this. I don't think that it's right to always separate or always keep multiples together because their relationships are different. For example,
Chris is an obstetrician gynecologist, and together he and Donald have founded the Center for Multiple Births in Chicago. What was it like growing up as an identical twin?
Well, there was a lot of competition and a lot of comparison.
Was there a point at which you never wanted to see each other again on a two-day basis, at least?
Regularly.
Regularly.
I think it got worse the day that we left for college, when we went out the door, turned different ways, and my father said, "Aren't you guys going to say goodbye? Come back here," because we were so fed up with it at that time.
I would think so. Later in life, though, has the bond gotten stronger?
Tremendous. Absolutely. Absolutely
Yeah,
great. I love it.
This is the most important bond that I could have in my life. I love my wife, but it's a different bond, and my brother is a part of my life.
Facial structures, growth, and things like that. I wonder if you should breastfeed if you have multiples.
Why not? I mean, there are a lot of people who think you can't, and one of the things that we put in our book on multiple pregnancy is not only how to do it, but pictures of doing it. Of course it's possible.
Now you are?
Donna.
Donna has triplets, and they're all very, very, very attractive girls. Now, are they deaf?
Yes, they are.
And when did you find out that they would be deaf?
When they were 2.
Are they going to learn to sign, or do they?
They do know sign very well. They talk about me basically behind my back, in front of my face all the time.
And you see, if they were speaking, you would know what they were saying, but if they're signing, it's behind your back, you can't.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But they do talk. 2 of them talk. She's profoundly deaf, so she really doesn't talk. But they use their voice when they need to. Especially her, she can be real loud.
Do we know what the medical reason was that this happened?
I never went for genetic counseling, which was recommended many times, but I didn't have the time.
Right.
But that's definitely on our calendar of things to do in the future.
So that they can grow up knowing what it is, right?
Yeah.
Well, they appear very healthy, happy young girls. Good luck to you. Take a break.